everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I'm going to talk about something that it just popped in my mind last night. I'm not sure why. And it was back when I was dating. And I did the online dating thing. Nobody needs to tell me anything about that, believe me. I have no intention of ever doing it again. I did it for years. And when you can say you did it for years, and maybe you should have stopped long before then. Just my opinion, but yeah. But to me, my experience, it was just meeting up with a lot of predators. A lot of predators. And I would meet these guys usually in a restaurant, you know, and people advise us that it's crowded, you know, in public somewhere. Yeah. And I did that. I took the safety measures, but I still think, even so, I was a bit, I took too many risks, I think. In some instances, usually I was very, you know, cautious and everything, and nobody needs to tell me about this, okay? So there's always going to be somebody who's going to tell you like they know, you know, they know for certain. You know, one size doesn't fit all. But there was one situation, I don't remember the details, it was so many years ago, and but it was being put in a very odd situation, okay, or putting myself in it. I'm going to take the blame for being there. But the situation, yeah, no, I'm not going to take the blame for that. Okay, and like I said, I don't remember the details, but I think it was that I had dated this man or met him, dated him, was talking to him for a while, he was my age, and I think it was that his eldest son, oldest, was graduating, and he was having a graduation party, okay, and I was invited to it. And so like I said, the memory is vague, but I do remember these parts. You know how that kind of, the bad part sticks out. But when I went there to the graduation party, he lived in a really old house, and it was like he didn't take care of it. He was divorced. He had custody of his three teenage kids, two boys and a girl. And the girl, I think, I didn't meet her. I think she had some kind of health condition. But he was a really nice guy. He really was very sweet, really nice. But he was also extremely naive. Or either he was playing, like maybe he was in denial, or he was playing like he was naive, or he was trying to see if I'm naive, okay? But my gut told me that this guy was extremely naive. Okay, now the reason I say that is because what was going on at the time, and what I was hearing stories about, what I was seeing, and it was as if this guy, I don't even remember his name now, but let's just call him Mike. There were so many Mikes I met. Yeah, Mike seemed to be, well, it is the most common name, or was then, for males. But anyway, Michael. But anyway, I don't know. He just seemed like he was oblivious. He didn't see things, or you know, like I say, he could have just been trying not to see it and smell it. But basically, here it was having this party or something, you know, and his and I was seeing things, like I said. Now, one of the things I also saw is he was like, you know, some ways childlike. He loved games. He loved board games. Okay, board games. He had a room filled with board games, you know, special shelves for him. The rest of his house was a mess, but he had all the board games on. You know, he had board game parties, and, you know, a lot of other people liked him. Hey, whatever, you know. But his mind seemed to be focused solely on that. You know, so much on that, not on things like what's going on with his children, his teenage children, and yeah. And so, but he seemed to be wrapped in that kind of world. And he told me stories about, you know, at one point it seemed more like, you know, after I met him and everything, more like, you know, instant friendship kind of thing. And anyway, he told me stories about his ex-girlfriend. Now, he was very strict in his views of what he thinks people should, you know, people in a relationship should do with one another. Okay, he told me his views about his ex-girlfriend, and now we were adults. I don't know, say in our 40s, And his view was basically that people should not even, a couple should not even hold hands until they had been together for 6 months. In the 6 months they could hold hands, and then 6 more months they could actually give a kiss to one another. It was along this line, and it was like very strict. And he basically told me that his girlfriend didn't like that, and eventually they were together for a while, and eventually she just said no and stopped, ended the relationship. And it's his views, but he's wanting to tell somebody else this is how it's going to be. No anybody else can have any view. Well, yeah, if a person wants to have it for himself, they're going to be alone. These days, holding hands, you can't even hold hands or touch one another at all in any way. Just like bump up against one another, hug one another for 6 months. Then another 6 months before they can kiss. This kind of thing. Yeah, it was pretty strange, really. And it's important to mention this about how strict he was about relationships, because, like I said, between the board games and this kind of thing, he failed to notice things that were very obvious. And I know I might get some flack for this and everything, but it was made obvious. And one of them was that, I think many people know when something smells a little odd. When this is Texas, we don't have laws where you can buy marijuana, you can have marijuana, what is it? I'm trying to think of. But yeah, you know what I mean. And it was marijuana. It was marijuana burning. And his, like I said, teenage kids and everything, he was oblivious to it. He really seemed oblivious. And that wasn't it. That wasn't all to it. One of his sons was probably somewhere between, I'd say 15, maybe 15 to 17. Maybe, I'm thinking more like 15. I could be wrong. But he was obviously, and this is where I'm going to get some flack for, obviously gay. Okay? Obviously. He made it obvious. And he, by signs and symbols and, like jewelry and stuff. And the things he said, the way he said them. And, his son realized I caught on and became like really angry toward me, and I didn't say anything. I did not say a word, but the dad, Mike, just totally oblivious. And the reason I'm saying this is because of a situation that came about because of this, and me knowing how parents want to, this parent in any kind of situation with, teenagers, they want to protect, at least that's what I do, this kind of situation. I haven't had this kind of situation with any teenagers, but I would be very cautious, okay? Now, I don't remember if Mike told me about the situation or they were, he and his son, they were trying to, the son was trying to get away, but the son was trying to con the dad, Mike, into it. And it was basically, this gay son wanted to say that he and his friend from high school now were wanting to go to a summer retreat, okay, a summer retreat with these two other guys who were going to be chaperoned. Okay, these two other guys were college students. And I don't think Mike was getting it. He was, at all. Like I say, he seemed to be totally oblivious to his son being gay. Teenager, high schoolers going to, his friend could have been gay too. I don't know. I didn't meet his friend. But going to a summer, to a retreat with two guys, college guys. You see what I'm saying? And I was hearing everything, listening and paying attention to what was being said and how it was being said. And it was, to me, he was clueless, and he was thinking, oh, well, I think he even said, well, there might be girls showing up there, and that wouldn't be appropriate. You know, and the son was, you know, like, oh, you know, no, these two guys, you know, they're good guys, and they wouldn't allow that. Well, of course they wouldn't allow that. Think about it. But like I'm saying, you know, I don't remember all the details from back then, but I do remember there was so many clues. There was just so much out there that was being actually said, but the dad was so clueless. You know, clueless. Yeah. So, you know, being in that kind of situation, that to me it was a bad situation, because here it was, the drugs, you know, I don't know that it was more than that, but the smell of marijuana, it's kind of obvious. And, so maybe, but, and then the son trying to get away with stuff, and, you know, like feeling a friendship for the dad. And no, I wasn't going to out the son, and I wasn't going to, you know, it wasn't my place to do it. But at the same time, I was concerned about this teenage boy who thought he was so, you know, worldly wise, and here he was, a teenager. And even with him, yeah, he knew what he was doing, but, you know, to get away, to go with these guys. But at the same time, did he know what he was doing? You know what I'm saying? You know, these are college boys, you know, yeah. And he might think he's at that level, but he's not. So it was a really, you know, awkward situation. And I think after that, I didn't see this guy again. But yeah, you know, and the son was being very mean to me. Oh my goodness. But anyway, have you ever had a situation like that? If you have, you know, you feel like sharing, leave a comment below. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. If you want to subscribe to this channel, click the circle. If you want to watch another video on this channel, click one of the rectangles. Like, subscribe, comment, share if you would. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.